Hi, my name is Paul Zelizer of paulzelizer.com, and I'm sitting here on the staircase at the Entrepreneurial Center where my office is in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I'll tell you what's up with this staircase in just a second. Today I want to talk to you about mindfully raising your rates, and 5 things I'd ask you to think about before you go ahead and raise them. There's a lot of talk out there in the coaching and the wisdom world and the online marketing world about, double your rates, and that's very exciting and there's a lot of energy, but sometimes it's a little more complicated than it's presented. There's a nuanced layer of factors that I've learned working with people over the years, and I wanted to go a little deeper into this conversation about how can you approach increasing your rates in a very mindful, thoughtful, and compassionate way. So, 5 things I'd encourage you to think about when you're thinking about raising your rates. The first one is your money energy. Oprah Winfrey on her set has a sign, and the sign says, "Please be aware of the energy you're bringing to this set." So she's not saying don't be angry or don't be scared, you have to be happy. She's asking you to practice awareness. And that's the first piece, the first question I'd like to invite is, what is the money energy you're bringing to the conversation about changing your rates, about raising them? So just sit with that for a little while and use it as an opportunity to notice. Again, try not to label it good, bad, it should be this or it should be that, but what actually is the money energy that you're bringing to this conversation? And are you aware of it? Are you paying attention? And how might it be influencing the conversation? So that's the first question, the first tip. The second question, the second tip is, I want you to think about the current flow of clients in your business. Do you have a pretty full practice? Are you at 75%, or is it more like 50, or it's been pretty slow lately, right? If you have a good flow of clients and things are really moving, that says your marketing systems are working, you have a certain reputation in the marketplace, and that might be a really good time to raise your rates. If your client flow is less, then there might be some work you want to do about marketing and how you're positioning yourself before you think about raising your rates. So your current flow of clients. The third piece, your trusted advisors. There's a lot of noise, and sometimes to me it feels like a lot of ego about doubling your income or triple your income and just go out there and charge what you're worth. To me it feels like this is a conversation that has a lot of nuance to it, and wisdom teachers throughout the years have said when we're dealing with more complex and more nuanced situations, to check in with our community, check in with our wisdom teachers and the people that we travel a spiritual path with. So the people that you trust, have you run this by them? And what kind of feedback are you getting? And what's their questions? And what are they mirroring to you? So that's the third question, the third tip. The fourth one is where the staircase actually comes in. And that is, do you have a nice set of offerings? Sometimes what happens that in somebody's business, particularly if it's a service business, if we're doing one-on-one sessions, if there's whatever you do for free, you do your marketing videos, or you have a newsletter, or you're on Facebook, or you're doing Twitter, or you're blogging, right? There's those things you're doing to be in the marketplace for free, and then if pretty much the only thing you have is one-on-one offerings, that's a big step, right? That's like trying to get to the second floor, at least halfway up with one giant step. So sometimes when a client is thinking about how do I raise my rates and increase my income, sometimes what we want to do is build another set of steps or 2 so that somebody has 3 or maybe 4 offerings in their business before they try to increase the rates of what they're currently offering. For instance, a client recently did this. She introduced a small group, and she got 10 people in that small group, and people are loving it. It's off to a great start, and that's increasing her income, but it's also putting in a step before she raises the rates on her one-on-one work where people are paying her larger amounts, larger fees, right? So do you have that nice set of offerings that you're not just trying to raise 1 or 2 things, but have you thought about having at least 3 or 4 things that you're offering in your business? And is there a nice progression to those things? So that's the 4th tip or the 4th question. And then if the first 4 are feeling good, you're saying, yes, my money energy, I'm aware of it, I'm paying attention, I've got a pretty good flow or a really good flow of clients in my business. My trusted advisors are saying, yeah, this is a good time. You've done your work, you've built this practice or this business to this point, it's going well, and you've got a nice set of offerings. You've got 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 5, and those are working well. Now it's time to say, what kind of increase are we talking about? On the lower end, when somebody has done their work on those 4 questions, when one of the clients have done that, we can almost always do a 10 or 15% rate increase with almost no pushback or ripple effects whatsoever. It's just kind of like, yeah, you've built this business, you've got a reputation. On the upper end, I do know people who've doubled their rates, and to do that well, what I'd say is there's usually a new brand story, there's usually a rebrand, there's usually more attention to the marketing systems, and perhaps a new website. So when you're going to those upper levels of doubling or tripling your rates, then you want to make sure you're really taking a look at the whole business and not just your pricing. So 10 or 15% on the lower end is, pretty safe bet, and rarely are there large negative ripple effects there. If you're going to like doubling or tripling or quadrupling your rate, then you want to look at the whole business and up-leveling the whole business. And of course, there's lots of room in between there. So what's the right rate increase for you, what you feel comfortable with, and also in the business, the community that you've cultivated around your business, what is that community ready for? So how much is an aligned rate increase? So 5 tips or 5 questions to help you in this journey of mindfully raising your rates. I really appreciate you listening in. If you have any questions, feel free to post them below the video, and I'll do my best to be a thought partner with you. And thank you so much. This was Paul Zelizer at paulzelizer.com. Thanks for listening.